Throughout history, pugilism has given us legends from eras where it seems as if all the talent of a generation was absorbed by a single brave warrior who, inside the ring, is untamable. These are truly rare events, where more than one legend emerges simultaneously, offering the public true battle royales within the squared circle, allowing spectators to witness fantasy-like fights in real life. In cases where such coincidences don't occur naturally, many fans of the noble art of boxing tend to create fictional matchups, what they call fantasy fights, where debates rage on about which fighter at their peak would defeat another. Also at their peak, if they were to meet in an alternate reality where time no longer mattered. One such example is today's video, where we'll see Mike Tyson in his prime face none other than George Foreman, accompanied by a narration that will make you question what's real and what's not. You're invited to stay until the very end, always keeping discretion in mind. The fight you're about to witness is out of this world. Content. When it comes to the most devastating punchers in the history of the sport, only two names can come to mind: Mike Tyson and George Foreman. The physical power of these boxers is incredible, and their aura was far more than intimidating. However, they can't exactly be grouped in the same club, as their fighting styles are what set them apart. Tyson was a master of movement, with an explosive offense that allowed him to shine whenever he unleashed his lethal combinations on any target before him. Foreman, on the other hand, is remembered as a much slower fighter than Mike, but it was his sheer power that made him seem like an unstoppable force, impossible to beat in any situation. With a single punch, thanks to his tremendous accuracy, George could turn out the lights for anyone bold enough to stand in front of him. Still have doubts? Let's take a look at a top 4 list of the best knockouts from each of these fighters. Now, let me introduce you to the 4 best knockouts of Mike Tyson's career. Mike Tyson vs. Buster Matthysse Jr. On December 16, 1995, Iron Mike Tyson stepped into the ring at the Core State Spectrum in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to face Buster Matthysse Jr. Matthysse Jr. is remembered for giving Tyson a good fight during the first 2 rounds. However, in the 3rd round, he began to lose his path to victory until he couldn't beat the referee's count after being knocked down.
Uppercut to begin things here.
He ran right at me, didn't handle pressure too well. Well, this is it, talking to the slaughter. He ran to the slaughter.
Back up on Mike Tyson, or backing up. Those punches of that Peter McNeely fight.
We are through with round 1, and Buster Matthysse is passing.
Oh, he'll feel every punch tomorrow.
Oh, and there is a nice right uppercut, and then Tyson counters himself. Now it's changing blows.
Frank Cappuccino.
Oh, Tyson caught with the right uppercut.
Use that right-footed pivot. Swing around on your opponent's side and then crack.
Oh, he got a right uppercut. Another right uppercut. And down.
Mike Tyson vs. Michael Spinx. On June 27, 1988, Tyson entered the ring at the Atlantic City Convention Center in New Jersey to face none other than Michael Spinx, his challenger for the WBC, WBA, and IBF heavyweight titles. Spinx also held the Ring Magazine title. That night, Spinx was advised to stay as far away from Tyson as possible, but he seemed more interested in clinging to Tyson's body than following that advice. The result was a devastating knockout victory at just 1 minute and 31 seconds into the first round.
Various opponents have complained that Tyson rocks. Tyson not afraid, as we expected, and Spinx ready to mix it up.
Michael Spinx has to keep moving because every shot,
uppercut
down in a professional fight.
And he's down again, right hand right on the chin.
Mike Tyson vs. Carl Williams. On July 21, 1989, Tyson stepped into the ring at the Atlantic City Convention Center in New Jersey to face Carl Williams, his challenger for the WBC, WBA, IBF, and the Ring Heavyweight titles. The two had faced each other as amateurs, and now they would finally determine who had grown into the better professional. Williams' strategy was to work behind his left jab and keep Tyson at bay every time the champion moved in. Unfortunately, his execution fell short, leading to a technical knockout loss at 1 minute and 33 seconds of the very first round.
Any unnecessary punches will leak.
They have felt it as well.
Just keep that right hand up and watch Tyson's left hand.
Mike Tyson vs. Marvis Frazier. Have you ever heard of Tyson's fastest knockout? If not, let me take you back to July 26, 1986, when Mike stepped into the ring at the Glen Falls Civic Center in New York to face Marvis Frazier. As soon as the bell rang, the fighters met in the center of the ring, and Tyson quickly stunned Frazier with a deadly right hand. He then forced him into the corner, where he unleashed a brutal uppercut that sent him crashing to the canvas. Referee Joe Cortez counted to 5 before calling the fight. At just 30 seconds, it was the fastest knockout of Tyson's professional career.
In effect. Tyson comes out slugging.
Uppercut, and Marvis is hurt.
Frazier is down.
Now, let's take a look at the top 4 knockouts of George Foreman. George Foreman vs. On January 16, 1993, George Foreman stepped into the ring at the Reno Sparks Convention Center in Reno, Nevada to face Pierre Kzer. With a crowd of around 6,000 in attendance, Foreman knocked Kzer down in the 4th round.
Get at Kzer. So far it's been level, so it wouldn't affect his vision at all.
Good right again.
There's a whacking left hand.
There's that stiff jab, and there it is again.
And there's a welt under Foreman's left eye. Can't tell
People, you know, Coach is the type of guy that,
Later, he yelled at referee Joe Cortez to stop the fight, but Cortez ignored him, leaving Foreman with no choice but to knock Kzer down again in the 8th.
that he's dropping his guard now, Gil. Remember that the 3 knockdown rule is in effect.
Still trying to punch back. But right now, George is just, there's that stiff jab again.
Well, Pierre Kzer has as much guts as any fighter in the division. That's
Foreman turned to the referee and said to...
Well, he said he wasn't going to take pity the way he did on Stewart.
Powerful human being, both physically and psychically. An awesome presence in there. That fight. Down goes Kzer.
The already weakened opponent got back to his feet and was allowed to continue, but Cortez finally stopped the fight after a few more punches, awarding Foreman the win by technical knockout at 1 minute and 48 seconds.
The referee said, "Do you want to stop it?" Kzer shook his head no.
And now Joe Cortez disagrees.
George Foreman versus Adilson Rodriguez. Let's jump to June 16, 1990, when George Foreman stepped into the ring at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas to face Adilson Rodriguez. Foreman knocked Rodriguez down in the 2nd round with a 4-punch combination: 2 left jabs, a right cross, and a left hook.
The game plan for Rodriguez ain't going to work. Good uppercut by George.
Blows. His hands are so heavy that what becomes a knockout punch doesn't always look like one, and Rodriguez goes.
As if destined to be connected, after Foreman defeated Rodriguez, Mike Tyson knocked out Henry Tillman in the 1st round of his comeback fight, following the shocking loss to James Buster Douglas. George Foreman versus Jerry Cooney. On January 15, 1990, George Foreman stepped into the ring at the Atlantic City Convention Center in New Jersey to face Jerry Cooney in a bout promoted as The Preacher versus the Puncher, though critics dubbed it The Old Men of Caesars. Cooney managed to hurt Foreman in the 1st round with a left hook.
Comeback. And that cliche, but really one of the all-time boxing greats. Effectively fighting the much shorter balance, something that Gil Clancy has said that he really wanted to work on with Jerry Cooney. Ordinarily, the fighter would have to fight. That wild amateurist Foreman right to the body. He threw that punch advantage of it. But again, Jerry in a corner. And that time.
However, Foreman came back strong, knocking Cooney down twice in the 2nd round to secure a technical knockout victory at 1 minute and 57 seconds.
He's risking everything. Putting pressure on Cooney, backing him around the ring just by walking. And there is the big roundhouse left, the trademark punch. Oh, and look at the left, come up and slice the one. It's terrible. He's ready to go, and there he goes. Because he's got 1 minute and 8 seconds left. Oh, and that's it. And I don't think.
George Foreman versus Michael Moorer. On November 5, 1994, Foreman climbed into the legendary ring of the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Nevada, to deliver what many consider to be the most devastating knockout of his career. The victim? None other than Michael Moorer, who came in as the 3-1 favorite. Moorer dominated Foreman for nearly the entire fight, until Foreman landed a crushing right hand in the 10th round. The bout was later named Knockout of the Year by The Ring magazine and returned the WBA and IBF heavyweight titles to Foreman.
The
moves, and moving Foreman shorts before 74 in Kinshasa.
Have my guys fight what George is doing.
Foreman moving correct. Foreman decreases from round.
George misses.
Solid leftman landed on the side of Moore's head. Moore
has a snapping jab from George.
George Foreman enjoying his best round of the fight. There's a right hand. Down goes Moore. He's flat on his back. He may not. Look at the replay.
Watch for the beautiful left hook right hand combination. He walked right into the.
Mike Tyson versus George Foreman. For this fantasy matchup, we're reviving 21-year-old Mike Tyson in his prime as the youngest undisputed heavyweight champion in history. And to be fair, we're also bringing back George Foreman at his absolute peak. Now, with a bit of imagination and the evidence we've gathered, we need to be honest with ourselves and ask, who truly had the skill set to defeat the other if they had met in the same ring? It might seem like a difficult task at first, but once you unlock both fighters' potential, you realize that sometimes the greatest fights are the ones that never actually happened, because their epic possibilities aren't bound by anything physical. If you made it this far, thank you. Remember, the best way to support my content is by giving the video a like. Now you tell me, who do you think would win in a fight between Mike Tyson and George Foreman, and why? I'll be reading your comments.